Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Unstoppable Service Dog Workshop. Happy Friday. I am your host, Caitlin Bird. I am the owner of Caitlin's Animal Training Services here up in the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania. And I'm the lead trainer for the online coaching program, the Unstoppable Service Dog. So welcome everybody to our Never Nag Again training challenge series. Today we are focusing on autofocus. Now remember how I was saying that when you're practicing these games, and we're talking about the no pulling reflex, and we're talking about the collar cues, that you want to be practicing these in order. If your dog has trouble focusing around dogs or squirrels or people or whatever distraction it may be, don't skip to autofocus, okay? Go back, re-review your no pulling and your collar cues games first. Make sure your dog really understands that, and then start moving on to the autofocus games because they are heavily building on each other. So I wanted to show you some videos, as I always do. And here we go. Let me shrink myself down here a little bit. Whoop. Okay. So you guys are probably already very familiar with this video, right? You guys are very familiar with this video. This is both auto leave it, opposition reflex, and learning how to focus. So as we're going along, right? So you remember, this is Reaver as a little baby puppy, right? He is currently playing with the water bottle down here. You can hear the crunches, right? Cutest little thing. I grab his attention, I get the water bottle, and I do our setup, right? I get him, as you guys may recall, you want to be stepping on the leash with both feet. You want to give your dog just enough room to sit down, stand. If your dog's a medium-sized dog, that's about 2 feet of leash room. Reaver, what is he at this age? Maybe 15, 20 pounds? He probably got 6 inches here. Okay, so adjust the length of that leash based on how large your dog is. Only enough to sit down and stand. Not enough to start wandering. Okay, now we introduced this to this game to our dogs by teaching them. We want to be reinforcing 3 behaviors, right? We want to be reinforcing 3 behaviors. Number 1, when we toss an item and they move towards that item, they hit the end of that leash, we're not marking them for hitting the end of the leash. We're marking them as soon as they remove that pressure from the leash by themselves, because we are teaching our dogs that when they feel leash pressure, what should they do? They should be releasing that leash pressure. Now, that's not the only step, because if that's all we reinforced, we would get a behavior loop of hit the end, come back, hit the end, come back, hit the end, come back, right? Kind of a ping pong, right? We're not looking for a ping pong. So the other 2 behaviors that are very, very important that we're also looking for is when we drop an item, the dog should be staying where they are. And if it's a brand new item we drop, we need to be pezzing them. We need to give them a jackpot. If for the first time you drop down an item and they don't move towards it, they get a big reward for that. That's a very important concept. Write that down if you didn't already write that down. If you drop a brand new object that they haven't seen and you've introduced before in this game and they don't move towards it, the second you drop it, pez the heck out of them. Give them that jackpot. Okay. And as you keep practicing, of course, give them a piece every time you drop, but they don't move towards it, right? Because that was the number 1 mistake you saw me making in this video. He gave me a lot of time to reinforce, but I was really waiting for that eye contact, right? As you go along, the eye contact will increase. But for now, reinforce just staying still, okay? So I grab the bottle. What happens? I toss. He stayed still. I could have reinforced that. I didn't. So look, he failed a little bit and he had a little bit of a hard time, right? So he's still learning the opposition reflex up in the beginning part of this video. What you'll see though, as we move down in the video and we start to practice, he's starting to give me eye contact. He's staying and giving me eye contact. And this was what? Let's see. This is at 3:37. Back here. No, wait. This was, it doesn't tell me what it is. I would say it's probably about 30 seconds in. This is probably about a minute or two in, right? And that's how quick this learning can be. Okay. Now, as we go along, as we're building this auto attention, right? As you practice your opposition reflex game, this starts to turn into auto attention. But it's only going to turn into auto attention if you vary the amount and types of reinforcers you use as a distraction. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is find a lot of things throughout your house to use for this game. Now, you can practice this by yourself, although it is easier when you have someone to do this with you. Somebody to manage the items that drop out of reach of your dog. Okay, so I added a new item. Should have marked and reinforced right there, but he said I want to go, but he didn't. I marked and reinforced that decision for him staying. And of course, mark and reinforce for that eye contact. So really, you want to have, you can use items from around your house. Tissue paper is a huge one, especially if you've got puppies or a dog that likes to destroy things around the house. Use tissue paper. Stuff that's cheap, easily replaceable. You can use bits of cardboard boxes. A lot of dogs like to chew up on cardboard. You can use your own shoes. You can use your kids' shoes. You can use clippings from the lawn outside, tied up on a nice little knot with a, maybe it's a spot that your dog always loves to sniff because all the other dogs are peeing over there. Use that, right? So get creative. Find anything and everything around the house. Practice in different rooms and use those items as distractions and cues for your dog. Pretty soon, you're going to have a dog that just stares at you, no matter what's dropped. And that's the response that you're looking for. If they don't even flinch when you drop an item, reinforce that. Okay. And that's how you get autofocus, because we're starting to generalize what it means when a distraction comes into the environment. Again, we're not using any verbal cues. We're getting away from those verbal cues. Oh, we've got so many people here in the comments. Jules is here. Lisa's here. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Jules. Hello, Carol. Hello, Alexandra. Hello, Lori. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, he's really cute, isn't he? He's adorable. Rady likes cardboard. Yeah. So start practicing, right? That's what you want to be doing to start generalizing this behavior. Okay. Kira's here too. It's Apollo. Awesome. All right. So here, I've talked about thresholds before. Okay. And I believe, I don't remember. This might have been the first or second. Oh, this must have been like the first one of when we were doing the autofocus for the door. So for you, any of you who have a dog that rushes out a door, right? We want to make sure our dogs do not rush out of doors. We want to make sure that when we go through doors, our dogs are still fully focused on us and are still able to perform their job, whether that's a front door from your home, your apartment building, whether that is a door from your car, right? We are really looking for this to be able to be done everywhere. All right. So, hey, Kelly, and Kelly's here too. Awesome. So I'm getting Reaver leashed up. He's sitting, giving me attention. He is so cute. Reaver. Okay. And of course, being a puppy, they always want to be in your way. And he was, as a puppy, he was highly reinforced for sitting in front of you. So sitting next to you was a different concept for him at this time, which is why you saw him move to the front. And I'm just looking for eye contact, right? Now, when you're doing this game, you want to make sure you reinforce by the left seam of your pant leg. All right. Right now, we're just warming up because we just learned this autofocus eye contact game. Right? And because we just learned that, I want to review with him to make sure he understands the game that we're playing. Now, what you'll also notice, I went a little fast on my first rep here because you'll see him break his sit. What you want to do is reach for the door. And as soon as you reach, when you're in this position, mark and reinforce. Okay, now again, you're going to see me go a little fast, and I'm going to reach for the door, and I'm going to open it. What happens with Reaver? He stands up, and it's a little too much for him. He doesn't stay sitting. Again, reinforced by the left seam of your pants. So I stopped. I didn't open it anymore, and we just reviewed from where we were previously. And of course, he gets into it beautifully again. So there's that nice eye contact. I want him a little further from the door. I didn't want it to be so in his face. Ideally, I wanted him on the carpet. But again, it's a little hard when you have a puppy that wants to stick to you like glue. He's such a good boy. Okay, I think we start up doing the door again soon. So it looks like we review a little bit more. Here we go. And I relax my criteria a little bit. I go to touch the handle, then I mark and I reinforce. So I start to relax my criteria because I saw that my dog failed. And I do a few more reps, make sure he understands the game. And as I'm reaching, I want him to be looking at me. If he looks at my hand as I reach, I just stay there and I wait for him to give me eye contact. He does, and I mark and I reinforce. Looks and comes back to me. Gets a little distracted. He thinks he dropped something. There we go. Good. Now notice that was a really key pivotal moment, that timing right there. You notice that he was looking at me as I was opening the door, and I marked for him to be looking at me as I opened the door. Because in the end, I really want my dog to be focusing on me no matter what I'm doing elsewhere. Right? So watch that again. Move and mark at the same time as he's looking at me. That's a key element. What a good boy. So this is the most it's been open before for him, right? And we keep the rate of reinforcement very, very high in the beginning. Because it's not a requirement good. Did you see that? That, again, another pivotal moment I'm looking for there. He looks at the door, looks at me. But there is no requirement to look at the door and then look at me. I just want him staying looking at me. And when he looked at me again, I marked and reinforced that. Right? I don't want to. I want to start building up on duration of focusing on me, regardless of the distractions. So he hits the end, and I've stopped. At this point, I've stopped reinforcing, hitting the end and coming back. I'm trying to keep it up onto just eye contact at this point, depending on the level of distraction outside. If he's really hyped up by dogs, like that family just passed by with their dog, I might have to reinforce him for just sitting and staring and not looking at the dog. Or if he does end up getting up to move to the end of the leash, I might have to start again reinforcing for removing that pressure to the end of the leash, because dogs are a brand new distraction, right? And we need to treat them the same as if we're doing that autofocus game. Okay. Now, the beauty of doing this at the front door, at the threshold, is because now we are starting to make the world, and this is the exciting part, a cue to stay focused on you. No more are we relying on our verbal cues of focus. Look at me. Come on, look at me. Focus on me, right? Because that's nagging our dog. No one likes to be nagged. Nobody likes to be nagged. But this is really exciting because now the world is starting to become a cue to focus on you. So whenever a car drives by through the street, mark and reinforce, focus on me. Whenever a person is riding on their bike, mark and reinforce, look at me. Whenever a person's walking or running or walking their dog, mark and reinforce, focus on me. That is the power of this game. Okay. And while I used to have to do it for every little thing outdoors, now we don't. Okay. We do need more practice on dogs. We do need more practice on dogs. But again, go at your dog's pace. Okay. And we're probably going to go be seeking out some dog parks very soon to start practicing settle around those dog parks. Because Reaver's now a very active 8-month-old pup. He has play on the brain. He wants to do what he wants. And it's time to start generalizing those behaviors to an even broader category. Okay. So do this. Start behind the door. And then eventually work your way to the edge. I wouldn't go popping out right away, right? Because once they can start seeing out a little bit farther, it's going to be a lot harder for you and for the dog. So I like to do behind the door, and I like to get a little closer. And you see as those people walked by, he hit the end of the leash and he's staying there. I wait for him to do the right thing. He removes the pressure. I mark and I reinforce. So that level of distraction of people walking by was super hard for him at that point, right? Okay, so that's the end of our little session there. Such a good little man. All right, any questions? Now, I do have a couple more videos I want to show. The next one is from a different angle. Same game for that autofocus. But the camera's out in front. We can't really see the distractions that are walking by, but you'll be able to tell based on what his eyes are doing. If I remember correctly during this video, he doesn't move forward at all. He still sits. There might be one time he moves forward because a bug comes up over here. there is an unexpected distraction that came up. But he handled it pretty well.
Reaver. Nice.
So there's a distraction. Doesn't get up like he did for the first session, but he does stay and watch. And I would mark this behavior at this point. Okay. Here, I'm waiting for him to focus on me. And of course, another distraction is added, way too difficult. We got a little bug coming up, but he removes the pressure and comes back. Okay. So again, if you're just beginning, you want as high as a rate of reinforcement as you can with this, right? And honestly, if something unexpected like that happens, you should be giving your dog a jackpot when that distraction comes around, because you weren't expecting it. And if he just stays there for half a second, that's a markable and reinforceable moment. He did really good there. Okay. So when a distraction comes by, he can focus. And I'm going to go ahead a little bit onto here because there's another time. Here we go. You can see here, somebody else is walking by. Again, distraction comes present in the environment. You can wait a couple seconds to see if they will come back onto you, right? If you've reinforced a few times of them looking and staying still. And then again, you can wait a couple seconds. That cute pink puppy belly, I can't. And he's so small. He like doesn't even come up to my knee. So teeny. So this is a much more structured session, right? This is something where I would have inside your car before you get out. As soon as you open that door, wait for your dog to start giving you eye contact. Once you get out of the door, wait for your dog to give you eye contact. Start doing these eye contact games next to your car, in the parking lot. Yeah, don't you miss this age, Kelly? So innocent, so sweet. Although I swear, they were never really puppies. Like, I swear he came to me with an adult brain. Like, he could train. He could train for a while. Now, I also, as a general rule, I don't let them eat off the floor if they drop something. And as you practice, if you practice that, you'll be eventually be able to drop food, and they won't be getting it. All right, so that's the end of that session. Now, again, very structured sessions. This should especially be done in your dog's service dog outfit, right? Now, I also have more loose socialization settings, and I play the same game out while I'm socializing my pups too, because at this age, training is important, but what's more important is the type and the quality of socialization that they receive. So here we are in our local Home Depot store. So cute.
Reaver spotted birds.
And I'm narrating a little bit of this. We found birds. And I'm marking and reinforcing for eye contact for me when there's birds present. Okay. It is a very loose but slightly structured walk.
Good boy. Nice. So we're just taking our time meandering around here. I'm not letting him pull me towards anything. If he hits the end of the leash, it just stops.
I do want him interacting with the environment in safe ways at this point. Okay, so if he wants to explore a little bit, I don't have a problem with that. When we're being more structured and when we're out of the socialization period, obviously I won't let him do all of this.
To redirect when I need to, if he does get his mouth on anything. This is our socialization outing. Oh, found bird poop. Lovely.
You never know what you'll find.
You're cute. You're a good boy.
Now this is especially interesting when we're out and about. I'm always very careful of what I see in the environment, and I manage my environment by walking away or moving towards appropriate objects and items, right? So off to the left here in the screen, up over here, you probably heard a little bit of a jingling from one of those large orange carts, right? Reaver had never really seen one of those before. I know some dogs can get scared of them, and I wanted him to be able to observe it from afar, because that person pushing that cart is not going to be agile enough or aware enough of where a puppy is, right? And God forbid he rolls over his toes. God forbid he comes up too fast and freaks him out, right? Coolies in particular are very emotionally sensitive animals, and I knew the risks, so I wanted to have very good quality socialization and let him be able to build up that bravery and approach things on his own, okay? And I also wanted to use that as a way to focus on our distraction reflex. So he sees it come by. He's like, oh, Mom, that means I need to refocus on you.
All right. We are pretty much empty.
So let me see if we can see that again. too cute. I
You're
can't.
cute. You're a good boy. Nice.
And he just knows. He's like, oh, something new in the environment? I focus on mom.
All right.
Calm, focused,
Pretty much
confident.
empty.
Okay. And of course, our food's running low, so it's time to go back to the car. So those are some of the more structured walks that I do with my young pups, because socialization at that age is the most important. I mean, that is the training that you do at that age, is that environmental socialization and human and dog socialization. Okay. All right. So we've got some comments here. I think that's the fun thing about herding breeds. They tend to look at you a lot. Alucard has been doing it since I brought him home. I always reinforced him staying with me. The other thing I like about herding breeds is that they like circling. Circling is fun for them. And it's a lot easier to actually teach them to turn with you for healing than it is a lot of other breeds. For example, I fostered a Staffordshire Terrier mix. She really needed a lot of luring for turning because it was not in her DNA. She didn't like to naturally herd and turn with me. Lori says, I had a lady yesterday at Walmart ask me what my dog does for me. I told her she's a multi-purpose service dog. She said, your dog is so focused on you, made me so proud of her. That's awesome. I love hearing about your success stories, guys. That's great. And Kira says, I didn't focus on having focus on Otto nearly enough when Apollo was younger. Yeah. And again, this is the basics, right? Everybody thinks that obedience, sit down, stay, leave it, loose leash walking is basics. No. That is advanced. You shouldn't even be looking at that right now, especially if you just got a puppy. That's advanced. If you just got a puppy and you don't have your trainer lined up, you're already behind, right? So, and that's why the majority of people fail, especially when they don't have that dog training experience. A lot of people who maybe they didn't line up the trainer, but they have that dog training experience, they stay consistent with the training. They're often the ones who do better. They can stick with it, but especially brand new trainers, they really need to have, brand new owner trainers. They really need to have that support structure, the veterinarian, the trainer, the breeder, and the healthcare provider with them. It really takes a village to raise a service dog. Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It does take a lot of work and high rate of reinforcement. Absolutely. All right. So any questions regarding our autofocus? Any autofocus questions? So make sure, I would love to see your autofocus in the group. I am actually going to be posting the autofocus homework thread right in the group. So please leave your 30 to 60 second video of you practicing your autofocus, whether that be around dogs, people, cats, out in a parking lot, at the front doorway of your home, or maybe just when you need to start generalizing it in a room by dropping a bunch of items that no matter what distraction you drop or comes by, they start to focus on you. So I would love to see where you guys are at with that. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And I will see you guys at 2:00 for the interview with Erin. And we're going to learn a little bit about task training and talk to her more about how her service dog, Daisy, has helped her through her disabilities. All right. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great Friday, and I will see you guys at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, guys.